So, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to For Your Reference. Thank you, Haley. Welcome to For Your Reference Intro to Library Services. This is a introductory session to everything that the library has to offer you guys as graduate students. Whether you are new and incoming or you are kind of seasoned, but also need a little bit of overview. Maybe you're getting ready for your big projects that are going to be coming up. So this is a great opportunity for you to learn about what we can do here for you and how we can help you. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get us started and just kind of quickly introduce your librarians, some of your librarians and the people that are going to be helping you today. So Les, would you mind standing up? This is Les. She is our STEM librarian. And for those of you that are online, this is Les right here. This is her beautiful picture. She is our computer science, industrial engineering, and mathematics librarian. So that is our STEM person for this session. Next up, we have Maya Conde Calmain, and they are our student success librarian. They are our newest librarian as well. And their area of focus is Latin American Border Studies, political science, and public administration. Next up, we have Tessie Torres. Tessie right over here. She is our Open Educational Resources Librarian, and her subject specialties are African American Studies, Leadership and Community Engagement, Leadership Studies, and Theater Arts and Dance. And then next up, you have me. My name is Jennifer Van Flores. I am the Online Teaching and Learning Librarian. And everything that you see there on that screen, these are my subject specialties. I'm not going to go through them all because it's a lot. But pretty much anyone in education, I'm your librarian. Kinesiology, Chicano Studies, Native American, that's me. I'm your person. I'm your go-to person for that. So if at any point, at any time, maybe you have a question for one of us in particularly based on your major, you can feel free to ask us a question either here in person or on the chat as well. You can just go ahead and type it in. And you can just say like, hey, Maya, I have a question for you. Or, oh, hey, Tessie, what about this, right? So feel free to be comfortable just kind of asking us. We are your friendly neighborhood librarians, right? So we're not scary. We're not... Okay, maybe we are a little kooky, right? But we're not scary, I promise. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm going to have us just begin by navigating to the UTEP Library website. So if you don't know how to get there, if you are online, you can just Google UTEP Library. You can just Google UTEP Library, or maybe you already kind of know it, UTEP Library.edu.
It's edu.
UTEP.edu/library.
Oh, see, thank you. I don't even know it.
This is why I just Google it.
Okay, so utep.edu/library. And so this should be the page that you see, and this should be kind of how it looks. I'm going to give us a little bit of time just to make sure that we're all on the same page, whether you're here in person or online. So again, just Google UTEP Library, and this will be the page that you get taken to.
Les, do you want to do that part or do you want?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch controls over to Les, our STEM librarian, and she's going to go ahead and walk you through kind of navigating the homepage and just seeing all the really cool stuff that is here for us, okay? If you're in the back and maybe you can't see, I'm going to zoom in just a tad. Is that better? Yeah, a little bit? Okay, cool. And then for everyone online, I'm assuming that you're still good to go, okay? So Les, take it away.
Hello. Can the people online still hear me? I'm going to take that as a yes.
There's one in the chat, so.
Yes.
All right, sweet. I'm always worried when I do hybrid things. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out about the library homepage is how to find and contact your subject specialist.
Well, real quick, did you guys know that you have your own librarian based on your majors, based on your degrees? No? So that's a really good thing that I think everyone should know. That's something that we tend to point out to our undergrads a lot. Hopefully you guys can hear me online, but you also have your own personalized, customized librarian. And every discipline, every department has their own librarian, and that's really important to know. I'm sorry, Liz, go ahead.
All right. So to get to the list of your subject specialist, go to this top bar right here, click on people, and then click on subject specialist. You see me there at the top because my last name is A. We'll tell you which department we're in, our subject areas, room number. Don't worry about the room number. That's most of us are inaccessible to begin with, but it gives you our email address, our phone number, and for most of us, you can schedule an appointment. So if you want to meet with us at a certain time, it's really best to schedule an appointment. That way you guarantee that we'll actually be there because, you know, maybe we have an evening or maybe we have the day off, or maybe we just said, screw it all and gone to Paris for the month. I would love to do that. Somebody please pay for me to do that. Can anyone give me their major?
Intelligence and national security.
All right.
And then what was yours?
Systems engineering.
Systems engineering.
Yes. Well, actually, you're a fun one because I have industrial, but Debjani has systems.
Okay.
So even though they're one department,
You have two librarians.
yeah, you can choose.
And the other one I think is John.
John. Criminal justice. It falls under criminal justice.
Okay. All right. I don't remember who said, but your librarian is John Padilla. He's fantastic. Your librarian is Debjani or me, and we are both fantastic.
And then I think you said earlier that yours was Latin American Border Studies. Yeah. So Maya is your librarian.
I thought it was you.
No, close.
Well, you're Chicano
I'm
studies,
Chicano Studies, yes.
but Latin American border studies distinct.
Same,
Yes.
but different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those things like IMSE where it's like technically no. All right. So here is the list. You can always contact us. But let's go back to the library homepage page.
Yes, real quick, can you show them how it looks to schedule an appointment?
Oh, yeah. Look back.
You can do mine. I think I'm nurses, yeah.
All right, so I clicked on Marissa. Let's pick a day and a time. Then we hit continue, fill in your details. Most of us you can meet with us in person or online. I can't walk away because I have to be near the mic. Give us a way of contacting you, and please tell us why you want to meet. If you have a topic that you're having trouble finding, give us that topic and we can do some research before you get there. That way, we're ready. Or especially in cases of interdisciplinary research, like you think, Marissa's your librarian, but it turns out Jacob is actually the librarian you want to talk to for your aspect of the topic. These are important things to pay attention to. And I mean, like with you, I could be your librarian, but Debjani could also be your librarian. But I could meet with Debjani if you wanted to get more information, or I could just refer you directly to Debjani. Then you confirm, which I'm not going to do because Marissa would be annoyed at me for,
Reasons.
yeah. All right. So that's how to contact specific librarians. If you just have a general question, or if you are like, you know what, I've met my librarian, less is horrible, that's fine. You're breaking my heart, but that's fine. You hit ask us, and then you'll be talking to, You can email us a question, and that will go to whoever is on the desk. You can also chat with us. And we will get to you as quickly as possible. Who's on chat right now? Oh, Marissa. See, we're very fast. We're very friendly. We are real people. So don't like there are chatbots on the UTEP site in various places, but we are actual people. So
We are not bots.
yes. Oh, you can text us if you'd like, or call us. I personally hate the telephone, but we will answer it. Sorry, I
That's
just
fair.
do.
I think most people do these days. Like, I don't know anybody that's like, oh, I love just talking on the phone all
My
day.
grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma loves talking.
I met one undergrad at the health fair last semester.
Who was
It was-
like all about it.
It was weird.
Yeah.
What about US numbers only for text?
Oh yeah, sorry. If you're going to text us, it is US numbers only. Can you still create Google phone accounts?
I think so.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you don't have a US number, I recommend getting a Google phone number in the US, and you can use that. I'm certain there are actually easier ways. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
That's free, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yes.
Google phone numbers are free.
If you have questions about whether or not we're open, we have a link here that will take you to our map, because our hours change. Like, our hours today are very different from our hours next Friday. Actually, they're the exact same, aren't they?
For next Friday?
Yeah, because they're Friday hours.
Yes. But like Saturday versus Sunday of this week. for
Yeah.
example.
The semester starts on Tuesday, so for this week we were 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., but next week we're going to be 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And it's just easier to check the link than try to remember what hours are our hours are every day. Is that what I wanted to say?
Yes. Nailed it.
All right. You also want to have a library account, because library accounts will let you check out how many books you have, renew your books, because you don't want to be bringing your books in every time, do you?
No.
No. Especially if you're like me. When I was an undergrad, I had a senior thesis. I had 50 books checked out at a time. They were heavy. It was a thing. So you can just log into your library account. It's your regular UTEP login information. So I clearly don't know my password.
So I'm gonna log into mine.
I'm going to try this again. Yes. Please don't. So you can see what you have. This would work a lot better if I had a book out, so I could show you how to renew. You can also see what your fines are and how you accumulated them. And you can pay those at the desk or at Mike Loya
And Banner.
and Banner.
if you have a fine and it gets all the way up to Banner, then just be advised you might have some difficulty registering until you pay your fine. If it's like a small fine, like 25 cents, just come to the library's desk and pay it. It's probably the easiest way. Because 25 cents will prohibit you from even being able to register for next semester. So just be advised with that.
And the last thing I want to point out is this MinerQuest search. That is the library's main search. It will search all of our books, most of our videos, and a lot of our databases. And to give you more information on how to use MinerQuest is one of you.
I don't mind doing it. All right. So as I was introduced before, my name is Maya, and I'm going to go ahead and do a quick little MinerQuest search. So I do want to mention before I get too far into it that my MinerQuest, while it does search many of our databases, we have over 500 databases, and not all of them are perfectly linked to MinerQuest, and that's for reasons, but basically MinerQuest helps you search most of them. So it's a great place to start. But once you get kind of, especially as graduate students, you're going to want to start using your subject-specific databases more and more the further you get into your own research. But like I said, this is a great starting place. So I'm just going to do a quick search. Does anyone have a topic for me, or should I just pick one?
For example, memory and justice.
Okay, so I'm just going to take the keywords that you said. So I'll say memory, justice. And so I just conducted a really basic search, right? I got a ton of results. I got 21,657 results. So that's a lot to read through. That's a lot to go through. I do want to point out that we have some filters here. These filters are really helpful for kind of starting to chip away at how many results we got here. So like, let's just say for source type, I only want articles and books, right? Because maybe say an image or a text or a report or GovDoc isn't necessarily going to do what you want. So let's go ahead and just apply those filters. And that should have already reduced my search by quite a bit. So we started at like, what was it, 26,000? And now we're at 15. So that's not bad. But there's other filters here too. Like say you want things that are more recent. So if you're not looking for stuff about memory and justice from 1643, you may want to update the from date. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I realize I'm pretty blind. And if I was having trouble seeing it right here, then you probably are all the way in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. Let's just say last 10 years, right? So we'll say, okay, hello, excuse me. Oh, twist. There we go. Okay. So now I'll refine to only since 2013. Depending on your subject or depending on your field, you may want to reduce to even more recent than that. Like I'd say, especially in like health sciences and nursing, you're going to want stuff that's even more recent because the health sciences are changing so frequently. When it comes to liberal arts, like say history or English or so on and so forth, you can still use sources that are a little older, but like I'm saying, we usually want to stay with more recent research, right? So let's just say this one really appeals to you. I want to use this as a quick example to look at what a record looks like on our system here. So obviously here at the top, we see the title, right? So this is memory justice in ordinary urban spaces, right? This tells you the source type. So right up here, it says article. Here we have some nice little indicators that tell us that it's peer reviewed. It's also open access. Here we have the authors. So this is a lot of this kind of basic bibliographic information that explains more about the item we're looking at. Down here, as I scroll down a little bit, you'll see this is where we can access it online. We have this through a couple different databases. It looks like they're both Wiley, but I'm not going to go through every single different database we have access to because, like I said, we have more than 500 of them, but a lot of them work in a similar way. So this links out to this Wiley Online Library. here we can see an abstract, the introduction. It looks like it takes you straight to full text. It looks like somebody's napkin scribbles. But anyway, so here you can even click on PDF, and it looks like you should be able to view like the full PDF from here. You can even download. Not all of our databases allow you to download PDFs, but when it says full text availability, you can at least read the whole thing online. If we didn't have access to it, this little button right here is going to be your friend. This says request from interlibrary loan. We're going to be talking about this a little bit later. I just wanted to point that out and make sure that you're aware of that. All right, and so down here, I do want to point out there's some fancy things down here. So these are all different subject headers. And so like, let's just say you're not really finding a whole lot in this search, but at least this one seemed relevant. Down here, we have these subject headers, and you can click on them and it'll search for things that fall under that subject header. So this can kind of help you when you're just starting out, you're trying to get a better idea of like the general topic that you're looking up. So yeah, that's a little bit about a record there. I do want to go over a physical book. I'm seeing a lot of available online, which hopefully is great for some of you folks that are watching.
Sort by
Oh yeah, good move. I could even just go by source type and just say
no, you want to go to availability and click held by library.
That's
So,
fair.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to availability and sort by held by library, because that will only show me things that are physically here in the building, just because I want to show you what the difference is. So we saw that one said available online, whereas this one says available at general collection main stacks. So if I click on this, that's how I can tell the difference. It says physical copy availability. And here it tells me like, it tells me that the item is in place, which means it's not checked out or in processing or something like that. And then here's where its call number is. So call number, I'm sure as graduate students, you may have heard this before, but call number is basically the address to the book's location on the shelf. So that tells you where it is. It's organized, our collection is organized first alphabetically and then numerically. If you ever have trouble finding a book by call number, you can just let us know at the desk. We can help you find it. But there's also this handy button right here at the top. There's this form you can click on that says borrow books. And you can fill this out and we'll go pull the book for you and have it ready for you at the hold shelf at the desk. All right, so one last thing I want to go over two last things I want to go over really quick is permalinks. So when we are looking at, we have permalinks both on MinerQuest, but also on our individual databases. So right here, this permalink right here, permalinks are really helpful because it means that no matter how much like our website like kind of updates or changes, this link is going to continue to work and bring you back to this record. And that's really helpful because like if you're doing research and later you want to come back and look at this record, you can use that link to come back to it. And we have all kinds of really cool things on this record. And I'm not just saying that because I work here and I like libraries, but like, for example, our citations tool can be really helpful. We are going to be talking about RefWorks later. So I just wanted to point out that quick little thing. Okay, so last but not least, before I move on and talk about pivot to setting up a RefWorks account, I do want to talk about reserves. So if I'm looking up something that is on course reserves, we have a handy little option right here that lets me select course reserves. And so really quick, I want to ask, does anybody here know what course reserves is? Anyone ever heard of that? Okay. Oh my. So no worries. Course reserves is great. So the whole philosophy of course reserves is that we have one book to serve many. So a lot of times it's faculty-driven service for students. So basically a faculty member or an instructor tells us, hey, I'm teaching this book and I want it to be available at the library. And so what they do is they either bring us their copy or we put our copy on reserve for you. And we shorten the loan period a little bit so that everybody gets a chance to use it. Because like, let's say there's a class of, I know grad students typically have shorter, or not shorter, but smaller class sizes. But like, let's say your class has 15 people in it and one of you checks out that book, and now everybody else in that class doesn't get a chance to use the book, right? So the whole idea of using course reserves is so that we have one book that serves many people. So that's why the loan periods are shortened. However, we also have e-reserves. So some professors ask us to either scan a chapter of something or scan an article of something, and then we put it online here in our database. I can't think of, do you guys know any? What's that?
TED.
What was the name?
TED.
TED, T-E-D? Okay. Okay, awesome. So here we have several examples of some e-reserves. And so I click on it, and just like that other resource that we were looking at that was available online, we have links for it right here. So I'm going to click on view full text, and it should bring you to our scanned copy of the text that this person needed for their course.
If you're at home, you might be asked to sign in. And that's something, so when we go over the VPN and the proxy and the difference between the two, if you're just using the regular proxy, you're going to be asked to enter your UTEP username and password. And that's just the same as your email and whatever else you use to log into your account. And then I hope you heard me online.
I hope so too. So if you didn't hear online, I'll just kind of reiterate what Jennifer just said, but basically, if you are not on campus, it may prompt you to log in before you can view course reserves that are available online. But yeah, so I think that just about covers MinerQuest.
If I may, for course reserves too, folks, I think it's really important that you ask your professors if they have course reserves set up for you. I can tell you from experience, I got a master's in history from UTEP, and now having worked here, I found all of the books that I read for one class on the course reserve shelf that I did not know about until I started working here like 6 years later, right? And so thinking about all of the money that I spent buying those books on the Mexican Revolution really bums me out because they could have just borrowed them, right? So definitely ask your professor if they have course reserves. And if they don't, maybe it's a good time for them to start thinking about how they can set up their course reserve, and they can always come talk to us about that. So very much ask your professors about course reserves. It's really important.
All right, and I think that's all about MinerQuest though. Was there anything else I should go over? I think I followed our checklist.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay, cool.
And we are in a switch for those of you online that cannot see what's happening. We are switching librarians. Now Tessie's taking over.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about RefWorks. Has anyone ever used a citation management system before? All right.
Not you, nerd.
The librarians in the room raise their hand. So let's talk about what citation management software is to begin with. Okay, so maybe in undergrad, when you were writing papers, it was pretty manageable to just keep all the citations in your Word document. I used an Excel spreadsheet. But once you start grad school, and especially if you have a capstone or a thesis, or just any kind of bigger paper that's going to require more citations, it can be hard to keep track of them if you're just throwing them into an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document. So the idea behind citation management software is to put them in one place that will make it easier to sort them, look them up, find duplicates, and some of them will put them in proper citation format. I do have a disclaimer, however. There is no such thing as a perfect citation management software in terms of creating citations. This is why the computers will never take over, and it's because they can't even get APA right, okay?
Humans have problems with APA.
Humans have problems with APA, but the computers have bigger problems with APA.
Chat GPT won't even give you a citation list, so there you go.
Yeah, even AI won't replace you knowing the rules, okay? And the good thing about citations is they're a skill, not a talent. The more you do citations, the easier it's going to get. So I'm just going to open up another tab for the library homepage. And I have found that the best way to access RefWorks, I'm actually going to go to the guide. Under research guides, and I'm going to browse guides, and you can just search RefWorks. Why is it only on legacy? Is that the only one? Okay. Why do we only have that one? Where's I
seem to recall there being a guide for regular.
Yeah, there was a guide.
But not that I've ever found.
Oh,
Okay.
whoopsie daisies.
Well, poop.
Now we're learning.
We're learning, guys. You're learning with us. So I'm actually going to just go directly to RefWorks, and there's going to be a way that you can sign up directly from that. So it's RefWorks, and you can even search. It's the RefWorks ProQuest. So refworks.proquest.com. And a lot of it's a huge misconception. There's a huge button that says use login from my institution. I have found that most of the time when people click on this, it gives them a really hard time to sign up. So if you're new to RefWorks, you can click create account.
Just real quick, may I pause?
Yes.
Does anyone here already have a RefWorks account? No? Okay, if you don't have a RefWorks account online here, then we're going to have you to one, create your account, and two, we're going to have you set up some folders for your classes, okay? So you'll have a little bit of time, plus we'll walk you through it, but be getting ready to create this account. Okay,
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I probably won't walk you through, I can't walk you through the whole process because I think I already have a RefWorks account, but this is very important. You are going to want to use your UTEP email when it says start using RefWorks. It'll tell you enter your institutional email to begin. And the reason is that UTEP pays for RefWorks. It is tied to your UTEP or to you being affiliated with UTEP. So if you were to put in your Gmail account or your personal account, your work account, it won't recognize that domain unless your work has a RefWorks, institutional login. But to be safe, use your UTEP. And so I think, yeah, it says a user with this email address already exists, but it will ask you when it should let everyone else here create an account. It's going to ask you a series of questions like what kind of user you are. So are you a grad student? Are you faculty, staff, so on and so forth? How will you be using RefWorks? So I'm going to go ahead and give everyone just a couple minutes to get through that. If you have any questions here in person or online, you can go ahead and ask. In the meantime, I'm just going to log into RefWorks.
If you have any problems, just raise your hand and one of us will come help. Because we know that there can be problems.
That's not what I'm doing. Well, that wasn't brilliant.
Someone in the chat mentioned, I think it was Haley, she mentioned that, or they mentioned that they've used Mendeley before. So they're familiar with a citation management tool.
So thank you for bringing that up, Haley. There are a bunch of different citation management systems out there. Off the top of my head, I can think of Noodle Tools, EndNote, Mendeley, Zotero. Those are the ones I'm familiar with, and they all have different advantages, and they all have different disadvantages. And some of them are better suited just for various things. What's important to remember is no learning curve is worth you wasting time on working on a major project. So if you find that an Excel spreadsheet works absolutely the best for you, do that. If you find that Mendeley works best, Zotero works best, use whatever is going to be most helpful to you and your project. Oh, and it is going to send you an email, a verification email. So that might go to spam. I just heard that in the classroom for those of you online.
Yes, check your spam. Where you will get it?
For those who are online, if you need a little bit more time, go ahead and raise your hand or throw something in the chat.
Haley's good to go.
Haley's good to go. Awesome. All right. And how about us here in person? Who needs a little bit more time?
I think
We're good. Awesome. So as you can see, not a whole lot of initial startup time for RefWorks. So everyone who's just created an account, your homepage, your dashboard is going to be blank. Okay. I have 5 in here, but that's only because I've added them previously. There are a couple different ways to add items into RefWorks. I have found the best one is not from RefWorks pulling from a database, but a database pushing it into RefWorks. I'll show you all how to do that in just a little bit, but I do want to go over the features in RefWorks. So this is what I was talking about, the search databases. That's where you're going from RefWorks into the database and pulling in. I don't necessarily like doing that. I have found that that is harder. Last imported, that shows you anything that you've imported within the last few minutes, last few hours. The duplicates, this is what I was talking about. Sometimes when you're doing a lot of research over many days, you can forget that you've already found that article. So what this will do is it will find duplicates within your list of articles. You can share a folder, and this has to be with someone who already has a RefWorks account. But this is cool if you're collaborating on an assignment or a project. You can throw all your citations into one place. And then my folders. So you can create a folder based on an assignment, based on a topic. This is a really great way to start organizing your citations. Tags, these are going to be pulled in automatically from the database. It's another way for you to sort and categorize your citations. And then trash is where anything you've thrown away will hang out until you permanently delete it, similar to when you delete files on your computer. So let me go ahead and show you how to push in something from a database. So let me see if there's a way I can do it from here. Okay, yes. So let's say that we pulled up this memory justice one. You'll notice that there is a cite button directly from the database, from that PDF that we opened. When we click on cite, you'll see that when you download the citation, there is an option for RefWorks. It will be a direct import. And so when you click download, it's going to ask you, would you like to continue to RefWorks? You might have heard us asking, why do we only have a legacy guide? Legacy is not supported at UTEP. There is only the newest version of RefWorks that we support. And if you don't want to see this, you can click Don't Ask Me This Again. And then click Yes, export to the newest version of RefWorks. The tags that it's asking, import tags from this database, will go in this section. Again, these are not tags that you need to supply. And if you would like that additional method of sorting and organizing your citations, you can go ahead and leave that checked. If you need to start something new, a new folder, it's a new way of organizing, you can create a folder from here. I'm going to select import. And when I go to last imported, we see that it's there, memory justice in ordinary urban spaces. This is a big thing because, like I said, no citation management system is perfect when it comes to citations. I do recommend changing this to citation view. I will be using APA 7th. If you want to change that, you can click on the settings option here and you can change your style. They have over 6,000 styles. You can select MLA, Chicago, Turabian, but I will be using APA 7th edition. And now this looks like a citation. I am going to recommend that as soon as you've imported something, you double check the citation. You make sure that everything is there and that it's correct, because it's easier to do this one at a time than at the end when you're trying to do a reference list of 15, 20 or more citations. Yes.
Can you show them how to export from BinderPress
Definitely.
and or Excel?
We can certainly do that. I'm going to use the same memory justice. And so we'll pick another one. I'll pick number 3. Was Tulsa's Brady Street really renamed? I'm going to click on that one again. And where Maya showed how to find the citation in Permalink, you'll see that we have a RefWorks button there as well. It's going to ask you the exact same thing. Continue exporting to RefWorks? Yes. Unless you've clicked Don't Ask Me That Again. Same thing, import tags from database, import. And when I go to last imported, you can see that I have the timestamps, the most recent one up at the top a few seconds ago, 2 minutes ago, and now it's already in citation view, and I can double check that. And I can see that this one is actually incorrect. That's because I've worked with APA for years and years now. So when you click on it, if you do need to adjust something, you can click on that pencil. And let me see. It does say that the R is capital. Save. Let's see if that. And that didn't fix it in here. This R here in racial and racial injustice after the question mark should be capitalized. When I went to edit it, it did that. So this might just have to be something that I edit once it's in my Word document. If you were just going through and adding without creating or putting them into a folder, you can do that once they've already been imported. So if I want both of these, I can assign to folder. I'll create a folder and I'll say memory justice. So now both of those are in there. The ones not in a folder are technically in a folder called not in folder. And you can sort them that way. And there's all different kinds of views. You can view date added, date accessed, title, author. So depending on how you want to view your citations, there's a bunch of different ways. Once you're ready to create your reference list or your bibliography, let's say I just want to use the two that I selected for memory justice. When I go into a folder, I'll create bibliography. You can select either create bibliography or quick cite. I have found that create bibliography is actually faster than quick cite. I'm not entirely sure why. But APA 7, my references, I can copy to my clipboard and paste it at the end of my document. Like I said, the quick cite, I choose my citation style. I choose both of those, and then I continue to my bibliography where I can also copy and paste. Do we have any questions? No? Would everyone like a few moments to start creating some folders, start looking at references? I know we have a break coming up.
All right, so our little break time is over for those of you who are joining us online as well. So yeah, I think we'll now we're going to segue into interlibrary loan, which I've mentioned. I've name dropped a couple times before. So there's a handful of different ways you can get to interlibrary loan, your interlibrary loan account. Has anybody in here ever used interlibrary loan before? No. Okay, great. That means that this is going to be super helpful for you.
Haley in the chat says yes, she has.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Haley. I appreciate that. Hopefully I talk about something that is still new to you, Haley, but maybe we don't. Anyway, so like I said, there's a handful of different ways we can get to interlibrary loan. I want to mention this one just because it's up. I know I mentioned it before already, but there's this option right here where you can go to request from interlibrary loan from a record. So like I said, if like let's just say that this was a physical book and it was checked out, that interlibrary loan button is going to be great. So another place you can click is right up here. If you're already in MinerQuest doing a search, is you can go click on where it says interlibrary loan request there at the top. One last place you can go is if you're like, oh gosh, I know this isn't at the library, so I'm going to request it through interlibrary loan. You can start from our homepage. And so you click here on where it says services, and you can go to library services. And then there's a whole section right here. You can click on it to jump to it without having to scroll. And there's a section on interlibrary loan. So I keep saying interlibrary loan, but I haven't really described what that means. So interlibrary loan is basically this awesome agreement between us and libraries all across the world where we agree to share our collection with them and they share their collections with us. So that means we send books out to other institutions and they send stuff to us, and it's super helpful because it means that if there's something that exists out there, chances are we have the ability to get it for you. The thing about interlibrary loan is you want to plan ahead. Always be requesting your stuff in advance because, like I said, if it's libraries all over the world, if it's a physical item and they have to ship it to us, it's going to take a minute to get here. It will not poof here like that. It's not Amazon. But what's cool about it is, like I said, we can get you anything from anywhere. And one thing about this is that it's free of charge while you're a student. So you really want to make sure you're taking advantage of this. So really quick, I am going to go ahead and click on Iliad. So Iliad is basically the platform that we use to deliver and track interlibrary loan requests. So I already kind of mentioned physical, but there's also another way we can receive interlibrary loan requests, and that's digitally. So sometimes, like, say you request a book chapter or an article, they're not going to ship something that far if it can just quickly be scanned, right? Obviously, they won't sit there and scan 700 pages for you for copyright reasons, but also for like time reasons. Like, another human would have to do that, and that'd be a lot of time. But so can I have anyone in the room who does not currently have an interlibrary loan account come on up, and I will use your account as an example? Would anyone be willing, please? Yeah, come on up. And so I'll open this in an incognito window so that we don't save your account information on this computer. So go ahead and log in using your UTEP username and password.
Do I put in the whole email or?
Just the username. Just the username, yeah. And the reason why you need somebody who hadn't set up an account yet is because it will give you this page if you are a brand new user. And so here it will ask you for your first name, your last name, your ID number, your email address, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to let you go ahead and close it so that we don't show everybody all your personal information. But I just wanted you to be able to see this screen because this is a screen that I won't be able to show you because I've already created an account.
Should I just log on?
Yeah, you can just close the window.
Like, right?
Oh, yeah, there you go. And so really quick, I'm going to go ahead and log in. But in the meantime, since a lot of you said you did not have an account, please go ahead and make an account with me.
Something that's super important, especially for those of you that are creating your account for the first time, and especially for those that aren't here, maybe you are a UTEP Connect student, maybe you are a distance education student. If you are a distance education student, you want to make sure that you are providing your home address. And that's because as a UTEP student, you do have access to every book that we have here on campus, but you would need to request it through interlibrary loan. So if I live, let's say, in California, and I'm a student here through UTEP Connect, I would go through interlibrary loan, fill out my request, and say that I want it sent to my home and not the library. Okay, that's because as a student, you have access to everything that we have here. You just need to be sure that it's being sent directly to you. Now, if you are a student here in El Paso, the book will be defaulted and sent here to the library. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you're confused, let me know. Type it in the chat, let me know.
Yeah, we don't expect you to fly out from California as a distance ed student just to pick up your library books. So let me know when you are all done making your accounts by ceasing the typing sounds that I hear, and I will move on to the next step.
Just let me know. Maya, could you discuss maybe some of the, I don't want to call them shortcomings, but maybe some of the potential problems with interlibrary loan if you are doing a last minute request?
Absolutely. So in case you didn't hear Jenny on the online, Jenny was just saying, asked me to go over some of the shortcomings if you're making a last minute request. So like I was saying, when I kind of started talking about interlibrary loan, you want to make sure that you're making these requests in advance. And the reason why is because, like I said before, sometimes if it's a physical item, it may take time for it to be shipped here. You also want to consider, like, if there's a holiday, like say you have a paper that's due on Tuesday and you make a request now and you're like, hey, that's plenty of time. They got Saturday, they got Sunday, and they have Monday. Well, the thing is, a lot of places staff interlibrary loan Monday through Friday, right? And so if you make a request now, if they're closed for the weekend and Monday is a holiday, then they likely won't get around to your request by the time your paper is due on Tuesday. So it's always good to be mindful of requesting things in advance. You're lucky sometimes. It depends on the availability. Sometimes your request will go a lot faster than expected, but don't count on it. We try to under promise and over perform. So we promise, like, okay, it'll be here within X amount of time, but then we try to get it to you sooner than that. I think we have here. Let me see if I can pull up under library services. I know there's.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the part that talks about our expected times.
Do we still have that?
I know it was listed somewhere.
So if you go to services and then click on students and then click on interlibrary loan, policies.
There we go. Oh, this is okay. This isn't so bad. I was like, do I have to read this whole thing to find it? But okay, so check it out. So here, when it comes to physical material, it typically takes us 7 to 11 business days. So make sure you think about business days. 7 business days. If you request it on Monday, probably won't be here until the next week, right? And so materials online can be picked up at the interlibrary, or ordered online can be picked up at the interlibrary loan department Monday through Friday. That's actually, you can check it out at the front desk now. You don't have to go into interlibrary loan, and you can actually even do it on the weekends. However, I do want to point out that, so this is kind of for physical materials. For online materials, I think our guesstimate is 24 to 72 hours, which is super quick. Our interlibrary loan folks are fantastic in how fast they get those turned around to you. Is everybody doing okay? Everybody has an interlibrary loan account? Yes? Okay. I saw some head nods. All right. So really quick, I want to kind of walk you through like the basics of ordering a book. So it's really straightforward. You just kind of type the title of a book. So like, let's just say, I know, I don't know, I'll just say Lord of the Rings, and I want Return of the King, right? And then here, the author, I want to make sure I get that in. Publisher, especially for something like Lord of the Rings, there's going to be a lot of different versions of it. If you don't care which version, you don't have to go through and put the publisher. But if it really matters, like say you want this book for a class and you need a specific edition, it's great to include as much information as possible so that it's really easy for the ILL folks to track down the right version of the book. The reason for that is that when you submit this form, they basically have to like kind of manually search this database through ILL that allows them to see which other libraries have access to it. And then they just request the one that comes up first. And usually that's the one that's going to be the fastest to get here. But the easier you make it for them to find the book, the easier it's going to be for them to get it for you. And the faster you'll get it. This goes especially for articles, because articles can get tricky and they have super long titles. The more you can copy paste from wherever you found it, like say you found it on Google Scholar or you found it on our library website. If you want, you could even include the the permalink. So if you want to get like super helpful, you can grab this permalink and just copy paste that and put it in the notes so that you're absolutely sure that they get you the right article. Because you wouldn't believe, but there's actually tons of articles that have the same names or authors that, you know, maybe have the same last name, especially if it's a common last name like Smith or Gonzalez or something like that. But yeah, so that's a little bit about interlibrary loan. I do kind of want to show you what your requests will look like. So here you'll see some of my outstanding requests I've created for 2 different books. And right here, it will show you if you have any physical checked out items. And here it will show you electronically received articles. So what's cool about the electronically received articles is that once it's uploaded, this is where you'll see it. So you'll have to log into your account and you'll click on it here and you'll be able to download a file and get your article that way. But like I said, the key with interlibrary loan is requesting in advance because you just don't want to be left wishing you had requested it earlier and getting the material you needed the day after your deadline. So yeah, do I have any questions about interlibrary loan, either in person or on the chat?
Nothing in the chat so far.
Yes, Liz.
Are you aware we have a copy of Being in Time by Heidegger?
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you.
That's a good point that Les brings up. Les just mentioned to Maya because Maya has a request here for Being and Time. But if you need a book that someone else has checked out, you can request it through ILL. Okay. So maybe that's like an option here. So if I absolutely need this book that Maya is looking for and Maya already has it checked out, but I need it for like a paper, I can still request it through ILL. Okay.
Oh, but it's in reserves.
Yeah. Is it for a professor?
No, it's for me. I want it.
Oh, okay. Then
I want to
you're-
read it. The reason I put in the request for it is because I don't want to take books off reserves.
Okay, that's a whole other.
Yeah, I feel bad because these books are for you guys, not for us. And I just wanted to read it for funsies because I saw a YouTube video late at night. And that's what happens when you work at a library and you watch video essays late into the evenings. But anyway, so that's a little bit about interlibrary loan. Does anybody else have a question about interlibrary loan? No? Okay, awesome. All right, so VPN proxy was next. I'll go ahead and close my tabs here.
Okay, the public library doesn't have a copy.
I'm just gonna Google that for you. See that or not.
Oh, are you doing this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, folks. Hello again, Jennifer here. We're gonna go ahead and talk about VPN and the proxy, and this is just going to be really quick because there are a couple of things else on the list that I definitely want us to cover because I think that's important for you to know about. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a VPN, which stands for a virtual private network. Do any of you know what that means? Either on the chat or in person? What does that mean, VPN? No, you don't know what that is? So the way that I describe a VPN is that it makes your computer think that you're here on campus when you're not. So if you are at home, you connect to the virtual private network and it will allow your computer to kind of access everything that we have here through the library without having to keep signing in. Haley said it bounces your internet traffic off of other servers in other locations. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's like kind of the more technical way of describing it. And again, I usually describe it as making your computer think that you're here on campus when you're really not. I think a VPN is great if you are a distance education student. So if you don't live anywhere near the university, if you live 5 miles away, 500 miles away, it's a great option for you. And so especially if you are a UTEP Connect student, it might be something that you look into. So the way that we get there is I'm just going to go ahead and Google UTEP VPN. Now, this is through technology support,
Okay, this is not something that we as librarians tend to mess around with. So if you want a lot of assistance in setting this up, IT would be the people to go to or call. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. So you do need to have your Duo set up. And so in case you don't kind of know what Duo is, it's just an app that you download that allows you to authenticate your account to make sure that it's not being hacked into. I don't know how familiar everyone is with that hacking event that happened in what, like 2021, 2022? 21 in 2021, where it like shut everything down, and it was wild.
It was awesome.
So not to put the university's business on blast, but that's now why we have Duo, right? So if you want to connect to the VPN, you want to make sure that you set up Duo. It does help you when you're accessing Banner, the network drives, remote desktops, webmail, and PeopleSoft. So there are information of how you can do it with both registering with Duo and configuring your device to VPN. So depending on kind of what you use, which processing system, it's all right here. You can do it for Android, for Apple, you can do it for Windows, for Chrome, what have you. Okay, so that's there. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat just so that everyone who is online can see that as well. So you have access to that. And again, if you feel like you want to do this and you need a little bit of help, I highly suggest contacting technology support. They're the best ones to help you with this, okay? We can kind of help you with rudimentary stuff, but they're the ones to go to for more in-depth help with this. The second option that we have is the proxy server, okay? So this one is a little bit more simple. And it's very similar to what you do when you log on to your email or to your My UTEP. So I'm going to go ahead and select databases real fast. And I'm going to show you by clicking on Academic Search Complete. So when I have a database and it has this beginning portion right here, this is what we call the proxy portion. Okay, this is what allows you to access this database as a UTEP student, as a UTEP faculty member, as a UTEP affiliate, right? This is only going to ask you to enter your My UTEP username and password. So if you're not connected to the VPN, you're going to have to enter your credentials. If you are connected to the VPN, it's just going to take you automatically. So like if you're here in person right now and you're kind of playing around with the different databases, you're not being asked to sign in or anything. That's because you're on the internet, you're on the Wi-Fi, right? But if you're at home, maybe you do have to sign in if you haven't already set up your VPN. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's just kind of briefly the VPN and the proxy server. Do any of my colleagues have any additional information about VPN and proxy? No, I think it's kind of straightforward. If you do get stuck, let us know. At least we can kind of refer you to the right people. And I think that's pretty much it for VPN. So I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Tessie, who is going to take us through dissertation and thesis. And so I know that that is the end goal for everyone in this session. You are going to produce either a thesis or dissertation, but maybe you want to see what else is out there. And she's going to walk you through that.
Yes. So we're going to talk about how to find published dissertations and theses. There's a couple of different reasons why people look for these. The first is research purposes, right? Whoever's writing these papers, these academic papers, are adding to the research. There could be lots of good information found in there. But most commonly, when we're at this stage, we're looking for examples, right? So what were they looking for? What is the expectation? So under A to Z databases, through our list of 500 databases, when you click on all database types, it's a drop-down menu. And we're going to click on dissertations. We've already categorized them for you. We do have 3 databases that deal with dissertations exclusively. What? Les is making faces at me and I'm not sure what she's trying to say.
American doctoral dissertations and open dissertations are the same thing.
Then just kidding. We have two dissertations, two dissertation databases, but I'm not exactly incorrect because there's one that's not listed here that I'll get into in just a little bit. When I search dissertations, one of my favorite databases is the ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. So when I click on this, there's a few different ways that you can search. When you look at the drop-down menu over here, there's a couple of different ways in what's called an advanced search. So if you're looking for an advisor name, especially someone here affiliated with UTEP, you could search their name, their committee member. If you're looking for a certain degree that's been conferred, right? Department, but let's take a look at university/institution. So I'll type in University of Texas, and it was there, University of Texas, El Paso. When I click search, we have 9,000 results, and all of these were dissertations or theses that were published and their degree was conferred here at UTEP. And so let's say I'm going to just click back, and let's say I'm looking for psychology as a department, just as an example. I now only have 200 results, and I can, again, like Maya showed us in MinerQuest, over on the left-hand side, if I want to look at the last 5 years, so 2018 until now, when I click update, I now can take a look. I'm just going to click on the first one, and I'll dismiss this pop-up. I'm not sure if anyone's in the Department of Psychology currently, either in the room or online, if any of these names look familiar to you. I can say that in my dealings with faculty members, all of these names look familiar. So Stephen Kreitz, who's the dean of the graduate school at the time, still is, right, Ray? Still is. So this one was published not too long ago, within the last year. And so what this can do, let me zoom in just a little bit. This is a fulfillment that's required. This is for a PhD, but you can start taking a look at examples that are relevant. What's cool about this one is this is a global database. So it's not just UTEP. You'll be able to find dissertations from Columbia, Harvard, UT Austin. So really big name schools, really small schools. And that will help you get an idea of, number one, what kind of research is being done at your level and in other institutions, but also what are the requirements, what are the expectations here at UTEP. I'm going to leave that up. Do we have any questions about that? Let me see.
No, they're all me.
They're all you? Okay. So, like I mentioned, American doctoral dissertations and open dissertations, same thing. You can take a look there. It's going to be searched más o menos about the same, but I do want to clear filters, and I'm going into another area that is near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to use the alphabet filter, and I'm going to click on the letter S. And what I'm looking for is scholar works at UTEP. This is our institutional repository. This is everything, or what we're trying to do is we're trying to publish all scholarly output from UTEP. Okay, like Jenny mentioned when she introduced me, I am the Open Educational Resources Librarian. I'm trying to build this up because this is open access. And what that means is that your work will be viewed, can be viewed by anyone, anywhere in the world. So there are going to be different areas different types of research, different things that we house. But the second area are theses and dissertations. All of these are going to be UTEP dissertations. I absolutely love this feature. It's the map feature. And this isn't in real time, but these are the downloads from the last day. So it's showing you where and what they downloaded. And then you get these statistics sent to your email. And what I think is really fascinating is once it really starts going, once it starts picking up steam, you'll be able to see just how wide-reaching the impact UTEP has in the whole world. So you can search by date, or you can put in keywords into the search over at the top of the left-hand side. So only because I know we have a PhD in rhetoric and writing studies, we can take a look and see who published what or at what time. You can narrow by publication year. If you want to look at keywords, we have those. So you can refine just like you would any other database. And our goal is that you can certainly choose to not have your dissertation or thesis published, but we hope that you do so that you start contributing to the research in your field and, of course, start making an impact all around the world, as you saw from that map. All right. Any questions about that? No? All right. Are you doing closing remarks? Would you like me to do closing remarks?
Discipline specific section.
I can do that one.
Okay.
So again, just kind of like in the interest of time, if you do have any questions, you guys are more than welcome to ask us either as we're kind of transitioning back and forth or as they kind of come up, right? So something that I think is really important is understanding that we have access to over 500 databases, right? That's a lot. But we do have some that are very specific based on your discipline, based on your degree. So I'm going to go ahead and click on databases again under the UTEP library. And I have 540, okay? I can search alphabetically. I can see what's here under popular databases, so Academic Search Complete, JSTOR, MinerQuest, things like that. But I want to kind of hear from you guys. What are your degrees? I know we heard Latin American Border Studies, we have an engineering, we have one related to criminal justice. What else is out there, folks? What else are we studying? What are we doing? Anything? Go ahead, Ray. Education administration. Okay. So based on your major, just like we mentioned that you can search by types of databases, you can also search by subjects. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here under all subjects, and I can filter kind of what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for education, I can simply just click on education and see that we have access to 113. Or I can be a little bit more specific and say educational leadership, psychology, or even teacher education. So I'm going to click on educational leadership. You're going to see your librarian, and that's me. Hey, that's me. And then we also have our best bets. Okay, so these are the ones that are usually the ones that you go to right away. These are the ones that we suggest that you use
If you are kind of like in a bind, you don't know where else to look, again, these are our best bets. But as you can scroll and kind of look through them, you can see the different options that we have and where you can go to. A lot of them are going to overlap, whether they're over at open access journals or thesis and dissertation, maybe ebook central. Different types may overlap, and that's fine. But you do have very specific ones based on your major and based on your discipline. Okay. Again, just like we mentioned, how everyone has their own individual librarian, you have your own individual set of databases that you can search through. Okay. I think that's really important to just kind of point out and know. Something else that I think is really cool, and what I always like to point out to students, is if you look under database types, I can scroll down to streaming videos. So I always like showcasing these streaming videos. One, because I really like documentaries. I know that sounds really nerdy, but I'm a nerd. So I really like documentaries, and knowing that I have access to a bunch of them is really cool. Some of my favorite streaming databases are Canopy. And this is where you're going to find a lot of educational documentaries, okay? These are the ones that maybe your professors request, and then we get the licensing rights to, and you can kind of see them from here, okay? So definitely check this out. And then the other one that I also really like a lot is a little bit less educational, but more fun. So I'm going to click on Swank Digital Campus. And here I have access to really like blockbuster films, you know? So it's Netflix or Library and Chill. It's no longer Netflix and Chill, right? It's Library and Chill. And so there's Indiana Jones, Training Day, Selena, Almost Famous. Like these are like really good blockbuster films that you have access to that you're paying with your tuition. Okay, so check them out, see what's there. It's always kind of worthwhile just to explore, like, who would it love to have a movie night with Back to the Future, right? Like, that's pretty awesome. So definitely check it out, see what's there. I think the more and more that we kind of dig through the library, the more and more that you find out that you are already paying for a lot, right? The biggest thing to remember with the university library is that no matter what, you're already paying your tuition and fees. I can't tell you the exact number for graduate students, but I do know that for undergraduate students, if you're taking 4 classes, that means that you're going to pay, it's like $138, I want to say. You know, it was $138.
Oh, sorry.
No, I know Marissa had this statistic, but I think it's like $138 if you're taking 4 undergraduate classes. Okay, so for 4 classes, $138, and that's what goes towards funding everything that we've showed you, from RefWorks to the databases that we went over to all 4 of our salaries. Okay, you guys are the reason why we're here, and you guys are the reason why we have jobs. So come talk to us, come see us if you have any questions at all, whether it's for individual classes, for your thesis and dissertation work. We're here to help you. And more importantly, just kind of dig around and play around with the library website, see what's there. Let's see here. I guess I already kind of did transition into closing remarks with that said. But again, just a few reminders that you can always find your subject-specific librarians under people, subject specialists. And I did have a very tricky question I have someone getting your degree in interdisciplinary studies, right? And so for interdisciplinary studies, you're everywhere, right? You're interdisciplinary. So that means that he can choose who he wants to go see, kind of based on where his focus is. So you said your focus was a little bit more businessy. So that means that his librarian, if it's a little bit more businessy, is Lilia Fernandez, who is not here at the moment. And so we do have 2 people that are taking over, and that's Harvey and Joy, right down here. So just kind of look, if you have any questions, you can just ask us about who it is and who you should go talk to and kind of see. Don't forget, you can schedule an appointment with us. This is linked up to all of our calendars. So it's only going to give you the times that we're available. So for example, I'm not going to be here on Thursday of next week. So my day is completely blocked out. If none of these times work for you, let us know. Send us an email. We'll work with you. One of our colleagues, she has a tendency to meet with students even up to like 8 p.m., right? When everyone's at home, they've already eaten, because that's the only time that they have to have a consultation, right? So again, you pay our salaries. You're the reason why we're here. Let's see here. What else? You can always get in contact with us through chat. You can ask us a question, or you can just come down and call us, talk to us, see us whenever. And then the final thing that I do want to note is that we will be having other workshops. We do partner with the graduate school, so shout out to Ray and shout out to the graduate school. But we do partner with them to host these workshops for you guys. And I understand that maybe you can't make it to all of them, but we will be having others throughout the spring semester. We are having an information chow down session, which is during lunch. So you can bring your lunch, you can come talk to us, and we're going to go over how we can help you with your research questions and with your assignments. What else do we have going on, Ray? I know we have how to conference and how to poster, right? And then a CV refiner. So as you're getting ready to finish your degrees and when you're ready to start getting out into the job field, we're here to help you with that as well. So with that said, folks, I think that's pretty much it for us. We have about 20 minutes remaining. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to kind of hang out, type them in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to address them. Okay, so thank you for coming, and we hope you have a wonderful spring semester. Good luck. Thank you. And then again, folks, we do have some snacks in the back. If we seem like we're running low, one of my colleagues will go and put more stuff out, but that's it. That's pretty much all we have for you. You are welcome to kind of hang out, ask us a question, or you can call it a day and enjoy your weekend, okay? Thank you.